everyone and welcome back to Gugu's Kitchen, and if you are new here then hello and welcome. My name's Alexis and today I want to share with you how to make my delicious roasted beetroot and rosemary quinoa loaf. As I just mentioned, today I want to share with you how to make my delicious roasted beetroot and rosemary quinoa loaf. Now this recipe is really easy to make and it makes a brilliant alternative to bread. So I'm gluten intolerant, so therefore I can't really eat any bread at all, and I'm not really a fan of gluten-free bread either. I don't like the process it goes to make it gluten-free. So I started to experiment to see if I could make my own loaf, and I came up with this one, and it is delicious, I have to say. I normally have it with eggs in the morning, but you could have it with your lunch if you wanted to, and you could also have it with dinner as well. It's just really versatile and really tasty, and I'm going to be making this so I can have it with eggs in the morning. So while I was making it, I thought I'd share the recipe with you. So here is how to make my roasted beetroot and rosemary quinoa loaf. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to preheat my oven to 200 degrees. While my oven is preheating, I have peeled and chopped one beetroot. Now the original recipe called for 2 beetroots, but unfortunately I only found one in the fridge today, so I must have eaten the other one. But I basically chopped these into about a centimetre piece. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put that into my baking tray, and I've also got some sprigs of rosemary here which I've picked from the garden. You don't have to pick these from the garden, you can get them in the supermarkets. So I'm going to put those in as well, and I've also got 2 cloves of garlic as well that I'm going to put in. And then I'm just going to drizzle this with a little bit of olive oil, and I'm going to put this into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the beetroot starts to go golden brown. While the beetroot is in the oven, I thought I would grease my baking tray. So here I have some olive oil, and I'm just going to spread a bit of oil along the base of the pan and around the sides. This is to help the grease-proof paper come out easier when I take it out of the oven, when I take my loaf out of the oven. So I'm just going to do that, and I'm going to I've cut a piece of grease-proof paper lengthways so I can put it into my baking tray like so, and then I'm going to grease this again like so. So I'm just going to pour a bit more oil on the base, and I'm going to grease the sides of the grease-proof paper as well. And then I've got a piece that I cut widthways, so I'm going to put this in now, and I'm just going to stick that on the sides and to the bottom of the pan, and then I'm just going to put a little bit more olive oil in again, so that my loaf will come out when I take it out of the oven later on. And I'm just going to grease around the sides and the bottom of the tin as well. So everything is nicely greased, and I'm going to set this aside now. So now I'm going to mix my dry ingredients together, and for this I have 200 grams of ground quinoa. Quinoa comes in tiny little balls, so I put 200 grams into my food processor and I blended it along with 100 grams of oats. So in this bowl here I have 100 grams of ground oats and 100 grams of ground quinoa as well. So I'm going to put that in. And then in this bowl here I have 100 grams of brown rice flour, so I'm just going to put that in. And then I've got 100 grams of flaxseed, ground flaxseed. This was already ground in the packet, but if you can't get it in the packet then you can always do it yourself at home with a blender or a food processor. And I'm just going to mix these around now. And then in this bowl here I have 2 tablespoons of baking powder, 2 teaspoons of baking powder, 1 teaspoon of bicarbonate of soda, and half a teaspoon of salt as well. So I'm going to put that in, and then as I said I'm just going to mix these together, and I'm going to set these aside. And once my beetroot has cooked and cooled, I'm going to blend it and add the wet ingredients to this. So I will show you that in a little while. So the beetroot is cooked and it's got a lovely golden brown colour, so I'm going to take it out of the oven and I'm going to leave it to cool now. So I left my beetroot to cool enough so I can touch it, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour about 400 ml of oat milk into my blender now. You don't have to use oat milk, you can use any type of milk you like. I'm just using it because I'm also a bit bad on dairy as well, so I like to use this one. And then I'm going to add in a few cubes of the beetroot. Now if I had more of this beetroot, I'd probably add in 1 beetroot, but as I haven't got that much, I'm just going to add in a few cubes of it. And the rest I'm going to put in with the mixture later. And then I've got 2 tablespoons of maple syrup that I'm also going to pour in. And then I have 1 tablespoon of apple cider vinegar. Now apple cider vinegar and baking powder, when they get together, they sort of form they will make the quinoa loaf rise, so that's why I'm using this. It really helps to give it a lift and it makes it quite light and airy as well. And then I have 2 tablespoons of tahini as well, so I'm just going to finish off the last of this jar. Just going to get a spoon. And the tahini is to act like an egg, basically. You can use an egg if you want to, or you could use tahini, or any sort of alternative to egg is good as well. So I'm just going to add that in. So that's the last of the tahini gone in there. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to blend all of these ingredients together. I actually forgot to add in the garlic in here as well, so I'm just going to add in the garlic now as well. So I've got 2 roasted pieces of garlic, which smell delicious. I can't believe I didn't remember them, to be honest. And then I'm also going to add in 1 of the sprigs of the rosemary as well. So I'm just going to add in the leaves of 1 of the sprigs. And I'm going to blend all of these ingredients again now. I've blended all of the wet ingredients until they formed a smoothie like so, and I'm going to add these to the dry ingredients, but first I'm going to add in my beetroot. So I'm just going to put my beetroot in, and I'm going to put the rest of this rosemary in as well. So I'm just going to pull down on the leaves and put them in like that. I'm going to mix these around just quickly, and now I'm going to pour this mixture on top of the dry ingredients, and I'm going to mix everything together. I might do that with my wooden spoon actually. So just going to do it bit by bit, like so, and then I'm going to pour the rest of this in as well, and everything should soak into the quinoa and the oats as well, and hopefully we will have a lovely runny dough, like cake mixture it should be like, really. And then once everything is well mixed in, I'll transfer this to the baking tray, the loaf tray that I greased and pre-lined earlier. So I'm just going to mix all of these together. The roasted beetroot smells really nice as well. So that's everything mixed together, and I'm going to go and get my pre-lined loaf tin now. So I've got my pre-lined loaf tin, and now what I'm going to do, as I said earlier, is I'm going to pour the mixture in. So I'm just going to pour all of this loaf mixture into my tin, like so. And then I'm going to spread it as evenly as I can across the base of the tin, and I'm going to put this into the oven for about 25 to 30 minutes, or until the top goes a lovely golden brown colour. And it should rise as well. The vinegar and the bicarbonate soda and the baking powder will hopefully help this to rise. So I'm going to pop this in the oven now. So I've cooked the quinoa loaf now, and I've put a skewer in and it's coming out clean. So the bread is cooked and it's a lovely golden brown colour, so I'm going to set this aside and leave it to cool now. Left the quinoa loaf to cool, and now I'm just going to remove it from the paper and I'm going to cut it up. It smells really nice, I have to say, and I'm really looking forward to cutting into it to see what the middle is like. Oh yeah, it's definitely cooked, and you can see a lovely big bit of beetroot there as well, as you can see. So, as I said, I'm going to be eating this with some eggs, but you can have it with things like soups or stews. You could have it with Marmite on if you wanted to as well, or yeast extract, whatever takes your fancy really. And I'm just going to cut it up like so into slices, and then all the rest that I don't eat, I'm going to freeze. So the good thing about this recipe is you can freeze the leftovers, so you don't have to eat it all in one go, and then I can have these with my breakfast during the week. So that's how you make my delicious roasted beetroot and rosemary quinoa loaf, and that recipe I will link in the description box below for you. As I said, I'm going to be enjoying a couple of slices of this bread with some eggs for my breakfast. So for now, that's it from me. Thank you so much for watching. Please feel free to give me a big thumbs up if you enjoyed this video, and please feel free to leave any comments below. And please don't forget to hit that subscribe button. See you all soon. Bye!